Welcome to So Impact, How Music Saved Us, the podcast where pain meets purpose and music becomes the lifeline. Here's your host, Wild Willie.
Now I'm too old to go walking down this long air.
This program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are.
Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Soul Impact, How Music Saved Us. I'm your host, Wild Willie. And today with us, I've got an amazing guest. He has a man of many hats. His name's Brad Stewart. He founded Mogul AI, Stewart Enterprise. The list could go on. And as we dive into this episode, you're going to get to know him by the end of this episode. So here he is. Welcome him to the show.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you went black. I can't see you.
What's happening here? I don't know.
Try going out and coming back in. That's all I can say.
Okay.
That was weird. Never had it happen before.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Well, so while we wait on him, we're going to talk a little bit. Those of you that have been following for a while know that we have the benefits coming up. And for Operation Combating Veterans, they're really coming together. We got a lot of artists rallying together to help the veterans. If you're in the area, on May 16th in Summersville, Missouri, out at a place called Captain Jack's Campground. Make sure you come out and check it out. It's going to happen at noon, go till about 10. And then the other event will be September 19th in Salem, Missouri. And all proceeds will go to help the veterans. Welcome back, Brad. I can see you now.
All right. I don't know what happened there. Thank you for the intro.
I use the time to talk about my event, so it's okay.
Good.
So a little bit about the podcast. A lot of this started is I talk about a lot of the real hard issues that nobody wants to talk about, the mental health side of it. So, for me, music has always been that thing that kept me grounded. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into music?
Yeah. Well, like you, man, music has always been there for me. It's definitely something that, will never leave you and, that you can kind of relate to and to carry you through whatever mood you're in. And so we definitely are on the same wavelength as far as that. And I'm big about mental health as well. I do a lot of that in my consulting, and we can kind of get into that as well. But, mental health is everything. Without that, it's hard to succeed in anything that you're doing, but certainly have to be strong in the music industry for that. So I really appreciate what you're doing on the podcast, and it speaks to me and to a lot of my clients, and of course the industry as well. So, but yeah, I got into the industry in college, was helping my friends out that were in bands, and I was helping them get gigs or find studios or graphic designers. And I was a road manager for a little while and quickly realized that is not what I wanted to do. I love to travel, but I was the driver and, would go break everything or set everything up and then go to sleep in the van while the band played and then have to drive everybody back home through the night. And I did not enjoy that very much. So I realized that I wanted to be on the business side and not on the production side for myself. So
See, that's
how it
kind of
started.
that's
What's
kind of where
that?
I'm at now. That's kind of where I'm at now. Is I've been a
Yeah,
DJ for 5 years, but I'm getting to the part where I hate the traveling, and I'd much
gotcha.
rather be able to pour into this, and
Yeah, yeah,
eventually, it's gonna, it takes one video to make you go
right,
viral. I'm
right.
just hoping that I get that one video out there.
I hear you, man. Sometimes you just got to put in the reps. Yeah, I was a marketing major in college, and I didn't really realize that that's what I was doing. I was just having fun and just wanted to be around bands, and I just wanted to help them out. So that's kind of how I got started. And then once I graduated college, I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. Eventually got a job at a boutique agency out of Charlotte, and was lucky enough that somebody gave me a chance, man, and hired me on as a booking agent. And, it's what I really wanted to do. I even took a pay cut to do it even back then, but I had to do it because it's what I was passionate about. So I started booking about 30 to 35 national and international touring acts a year. And then I was there with that company for about 8.5 years. So that's, I don't know, maybe over 200 bands, maybe at that time is what I had worked with. But got to see a lot of different teams. I got to work with a lot of different managers and labels and distributors, and of course, a lot of talent buyers all over, and kind of got to see like what works and what doesn't work from like a bird's eye view, from that experience, and really realized that nobody really knew what they were doing. And I was like, I think I can do this really solid if I, had found the right clients and had my own thing. So I had an artist. Well, first of all, we were getting ready to move to Nashville. My wife had gotten a job opportunity there, and it's definitely made sense for me to go from a banking community to a music community. So I worked remotely with that company for about a year. And when I did that, one of the artists that I was representing, I was his RA, or responsible agent at the agency. He asked me to be his manager. So I kind of shifted into a manager role, and they continued to book him. And I trained somebody to do my job on the bookings, and I just shifted roles, and we were kind of working together for a year. But eventually that kind of ran its course, and I, started Stewart Entertainment Agency in 2014. And then we started doing management, of course, at first. And then we got back into booking. And then I got, when you're a manager for a band, you're handling every single revenue stream and facet of your client's business. So at the time, my artist had, owned his own label. So I was helping him get his label off the ground and signing other bands on there, and getting all of his metadata together for all of his catalog. He had, 10 albums that had never seen the light of day on any licensing or synchronizations or anything. So I had to kind of, dive into that side of things. And of course, I was a marketing major, so I started doing publicity and just general branding and marketing and stuff as well. And yeah, man, just really kind of took off with everything, and started getting a lot of artists that wanted to join our roster and saw what we were doing. My artist was winning awards and that kind of stuff. And I started doing consulting and mentorship, because most of the bands that approach us or an agency, they're typically not ready, for full-time professional representation. And you have to kind of be at a certain amount of revenue for that to make sense for you. And but I knew I wanted to help artists any way I could. So I started doing consulting and mentorship, because I could still help them, but without getting into a big contract where, we're talking about royalties and, without biting off that huge chunk, so, but it worked really well, and things were going great up until COVID, and COVID really crushed my business, to say the least, man. But luckily I had gotten into publishing prior to that, and started, that was what kind of saved me with Stewart Entertainment Agency through COVID, was I could at least pitch my song, the artist that I represented, I could pitch his songs, for licensing and syncs. And we'd already started getting some royalties and things like that from that. So, it was kind of mailbox money, but it at least kept the lights on, so to speak. And so, yeah, kind of did that. And then coming out of COVID, started to kind of rebuild the agency, and started, before COVID, I think it was 6 agents that were in-house. I had a marketing director, and then I had an office manager. So we had 8 people that were working at the company, and I was doing all the international territory. I had given up all of my domestic territory at that time to my agents. And after everything crashed, I lost everyone, had to completely rebuild. But when I started rebuilding, I was like, I really like what I do, but the numbers are really just not making sense. And I feel like I've got to do things differently. And it was a pretty sobering look to see how much time I had put into all that work, and the amount of revenue that was created off of it really just didn't make sense, man. So I decided I was going to just completely restructure the way I do business. And I think, what I created is a completely different model that, in my opinion, is going to disrupt and transform the way independent artists do business in the music industry moving forward. So that led me to the creation of Mogul AI. And I did that in May of 2025 is when I officially started that. And
so you started that right before I started my podcast.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just
in June.
Okay, right on. Yeah. So, I just was like, I know what both sides of the business need. I know what the agency side needs. I know what the artist needs as a booking agent, and as a manager, and as a publicist, and as a publisher. I know what's underneath the hood, for all those different sides of the business. And at first I was like, I'm going to maybe there's a software out there that will help me run my agency more efficiently. Like maybe there's something I'm missing, and I've been looking for about a year and a half at some software, and just really didn't find any that worked for me. Most of the software out there they're basically just CRMs, they kind of just help you organize stuff. It doesn't actually help you do anything. And, I was like, with the age of AI and things that are going, I was like, why are there no software? Is there not any software out there that helps you run your business with AI? And most of the software that I found, like, just does booking, just does management, or just does marketing. None of them do all three. And for me, they're all interconnected. If you neglect one of those, the other two are going to suffer as well. And so I really wanted to make sure that there was a software for me that could do all, like, even if nobody bought my software, I was like, if I can at least create my own software to help me run Stewart Entertainment Agency, that's a win, right? But as I got through that process, I realized that, this is great for Stewart Entertainment Agency, but it would be even better if I could deliver this to the artists themselves, but do it on a subscription-based model and not on a commission-based model. Because here's the thing. Like, so typically for us to sign on with a label, and this is not just us, but this is most other labels, you need to be doing at least like 150 to 200,000 a year before any agent or agency is going to even sniff your band. That's just where the rubber meets the road, because in that traditional agency model, we only get paid a percentage off of your live revenue gross as a booking agent. Well, let's just say you're at the upper end of that, right? You're making $200,000 a year, and you got us for a deal at 10%, which, typically we would charge 15 up to that point. But let's just say you got a deal on an agent. You're only paying an agent 20 grand to book your entire band for a whole year. Like, that is a ton of work for $20,000, which is not a living wage in any state. You know what I mean? And,
especially with the economy.
Right. And, like, if you're an artist and you release an album and you go hire a publicist, to do your marketing for you, they're going to charge you $3 to $5 grand a month. Just for three, and they're going to make you sign at least 3 months. So you're going to pay them 12 to 15. Well, we'll say 9 to 15,000 in 3 months. And we only make 20 grand in 12 months. And we're doing the heavy lifting. And it doesn't, they don't give you any kind of guarantee on what they're going to get for you or what write-ups or how that's going to move the needle for your business. It's just exposure and getting your name out into the public. Some of them are driving ticket sales, and we can get into kind of the different models and all of that. But,
I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah, what you got?
What's your opinion of this whole pay-to-play thing?
Sometimes you have to do it. But you shouldn't be do all of your gigs that way. You obviously have to, keep the lights on. You have to, and that's what agents typically do, is we try to weave in, those support gigs or, whatever, in with your guarantees. And, there's a kind of a fine balance, to making things work financially. But if you have the ability to do that, you can definitely, if you're leveraging your assets properly and you're on the right tour that is a good strategic partnership, then it can be beneficial for you. I know an artist that, was brand new that, did not want to do the grassroots circling the wagons kind of model. They wanted to kind of hit it quickly, and they decided to approach a larger band that, was doing really well. And musically, it was a great fit. And, for the crowd and everything, it was a good fit. And they've just said, look, you don't have to pay us anything. Just put us on as support for 20 dates, and we'll tour ourselves behind your van, behind your bus, and you just put us on tour. That's all we need. And, it worked, but you got to have the wherewithal and the funds to be able to do something like that, knowing that, your band has to be committed to doing that and not getting any pay on the front end for a certain amount of time. But, you can, hack away at trying to get, 100 to 200 bands or fans a show to come to your show, and you do all the marketing and everything. Or you can ride the coattails on a bigger band as support, and you're playing in front of maybe 2,000 people a show. And, it's like, if you're able to snag even 100 fans from that 2,000 that you're playing in front of, and you're able to convert them into your thing, then, that's just as good, if not better, because you didn't have to do all the marketing for it either. So if you're able to strategically work the deal to where it makes sense for you, then, sometimes that's what you got to do. And, but typically when you get to an agent level or agency level, you've already done the bulk of that, because for us as agents, we want a guarantee for you, like we typically don't do bands that, our typical quote is at least 1,000 points in rooms during the week for a club and, 1,500 points in rooms on the weekend. And if you don't know what points are, I can kind of explain that. But, we want a guarantee too, because we get paid off of that deposit, and, so we don't want to do door deals for you. Those aren't in our best interest either, unless you're going to do the ticket sales. If it's your hometown and you've already done 200-300 paid, and they've given you a guarantee and you feel good and you've got an album release coming out, and you've paid a publicist and all that, then that's when it might make sense for you to do a door deal, because you're going to make more money that way, rather than getting a guarantee. But that's why you pay an agent, to kind of understand your data and know how to work those deals and how to make it a win-win-win for everybody. And that's really what it's about. We kind of work like real estate agents for the most part. Our job is not to screw anybody over. It's really to find the win-win-win for everybody, so that we create good business and we build trust. And people like doing business with us because we're making them money.
So how many people are you representing right now?
Well, so right now I only have a handful of artists that I'm doing at the moment, but that is because I have completely shifted everything over to developing this software. So when I decided I was going to go in with Mogul AI, I essentially let go of my staff because I needed to focus on the software. And I love AI. Tech is great, and it can do a lot of the repetitive kind of lower level task, but you still need a human in the loop. We're still in a relationships business. And to me, that's why I created this structure, because the formula for me for the music, the future of the music industry is the combination of the human element with the expertise, and then giving the infrastructure and the systems to the artists where they can manage their own business. Because, there's 3 agents in the software. There's a booking agent, a marketing agent, and a management agent. Okay. And you can do them individually, or you can do them as a bundle. The biggest value is when you do all 3 of them together, and you do it on an annual subscription. But,
So what does that look like? What does your annual, for someone out there that's interested, what does that annual subscription look like for you guys?
As far as pricing goes?
Yes.
Yeah. So the pricing is, so there's really 2 paths when you come on with us that you can go. If you already have all of your assets and everything together, then you can jump straight into the software. If you're confident with your website and your writer and your stage plot and your press kit, and you're confident in your branding, you're confident in your pitch and what that looks like to the buyers. If you're confident in all that, then you can jump straight into the software, and I can get into the pricing there. However, about 80% of the artists that find out about us and, that come across, they need more consulting on the front end, because we need to help you as a booking agent and as a manager, tell you what you need, because, a booking agent is not going to create your assets for you. And you have to be able to give the agent the right tools for them to do their job. Okay. So like I can send an album to a talent buyer all day and they'll be like, Brad, man, I love you. We've made a lot of money together. The album sounds good, but I need a live video to show me exactly what I'm buying. And if you don't have a good high quality live video footage for me to use as an agent to sell you, they're not going to book your band. They want to see an exact representation of what they're investing in, because that's what they're doing. They are investing in you as an asset, and they're hoping that they can pay you $1,000 or whatever, and that you're going to bring in $2,000 or $3,000. Okay. But if you don't have the tool for not only for me to sell it, but the venue has to take that same asset and post it on their website and their socials to sell tickets for you. And if you don't have a high quality live video footage with, good lighting and the crowd getting into it and, all of that stuff, then you're really not maximizing your leverage and your positioning or your brand. So most of the artists that come across my desk, they need consulting on the front end. Most artists don't have any idea of, what their ideal client profile is. They don't know what they want their fans to look like or who they're even really targeting. Most of them don't know what venues and events, they want to target on the B2B side. Most of them don't have a business plan. And this is all the stuff that we help you get together before you jump into the software. Because if you just have subpar materials and you jump into the software, now you're just running crap at scale to everybody. So you're actually doing more damage than you are helping yourself, because now you've created a bad first impression to those people. And that's
for sure. Because technology can hinder us, because like everybody has a camera, and with me booking my show for that benefit, I can't tell you how many people have sent me videos that I see exactly what you're talking about. They have sent me videos, and it's like, your Spotify's good, and I completely understand where you're coming from, because there's one where it was just so horrible that, not that the band was bad, it's just the quality was bad. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. And the way the buyer sees that is it's like, if you don't even have enough money to invest in yourself in a live video to get you bookings, we're not going to take you seriously. Like that is a minimum thing that you have to have. And so what I try to do with my consulting clients and my mentees or the bands I'm managing is you want to build in a system where at least once a quarter you are finding on your tours the best venue that you can record live video footage. You want to find the one where you're going to have the best crowd, has a good stage, has a good backdrop, and has a lighting director. Lighting is super, super important. But you want to at least have a soundboard audio to patch in with that video. Or if you can get a matrix audio with the live and a soundboard together and sync that up to your video, then that's what you really want. You really want to get it pro shot with at least 3 cameras, so it's not just a stagnant, thing. And you want to do that once a quarter. It's about once every 3 months. You pick the best venue and you just build that into your business plan so that you always have new content and high quality material to sell your band.
So you think that's one of the biggest mistakes someone coming into the business makes?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, and it's not that they don't want that. They don't plan for it. They don't budget for it. They don't make it a priority. And that's what we try to help them out with, in our consulting, is things just like this. It's like, you have to have the right tools to build that house, so yeah, so anyway, we try to assess where they are in their business first, because we want the artist to be a success story. We want it to be a case study. We want you to do really well. And if we are not giving you the right advice and we're just letting you jump into the software, then you're not going to give us a good review on the software. It's not going to function properly for you. And now you've created a bad image of your band. So it's bad all the way around, So typically most of our clients will start with a consulting offer, and we have, like, my minimum package is around $1,500. Typically somewhere in the $1,500 to $2,000, depending on how many assets you have and how fast you want to go, really. So you pay us $1,500 to $2,000 to kind of get that expert advice on your positioning. We help you put together a business plan and all that stuff first. And then once we get all of that together and you have some high quality live footage or whatever, you have a plan for it. Then we can put or feed all of that information into the software. So we upload your EPK and your business plan and all that, and it is able to analyze that so that it sets the guardrails for what you want to do with your business and how that software is going to function. Just as if I were your manager or your agent, I'm going to want to see a business plan so I can understand where we're going, when we want to hit these metrics, how we're going to get there, who's going to do what. We have to be able to articulate all of that. We have to be very specific and very clear about what we want to do. And this is something that a lot of artists do not know how to do. They don't want to do it because it's hard. And, it takes, being, just very regimented about what you're doing. And artists are not typically that way, but that's why we work so well with them, because that's all we do is the business side and the structure and, putting all that stuff together. Because once you have everything together and you're clear about what you want to do and when you want to hit those goals and who's going to do what, then it's just all about execution. And everybody in your circle, on your team, they know what to do. They know when the deadlines are, so they can, it's just about execution once it gets to that point. Did I lose you?
I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know what happened. I was sitting here listening. Next thing you know, I went, bye-bye.
That's all right. So, yeah, man. So typically most artists, they need the consulting up front before they start the software. Now you can jump in if you just wanted to, if you're confident in it and you didn't want to do that, you could do it. It's just not recommended, because it's going to expose every weakness that you have.
So do you only take artists as on consulting? Do you do authors? Is it just one model that you're going for? Or
so we do independent artists, bands, musicians, and DJs for the most part right now. And that is my ideal client profile. That's who we built this software for. And it's really designed to take bands that are at least doing like $50,000 a year to get them to like that $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year level, because that's where the real gap is in the industry. You know what I mean? But most artists burn out before they ever get there. And so that's what this is designed to do, is to bridge that gap, but to give you the expertise and the knowledge to help you run your own business. Because once you get to that $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 level, you'll have agents reaching out to you. The agents will see that you're selling tickets and that you're staying busy. And, we talk to these clubs every day. We know who's easy to work with and who's selling tickets, 'cause we do this all the time. So, we really want to make sure that we have artists that are not just starting out, but maybe it's kind of a side hobby at the moment, but they're ready to do this full time. And that's always been my lane and my specialty, is taking bands that already have a regional following and taking them to that national and international level, usually within a year or two.
Oh yeah, and you see it all the time. You see bands that have a really big following locally, but they don't know how to take it to the next level.
Right.
I mean, as a DJ that has gone into sound, I see it quite a bit. I see bands that come in, and next thing you know, the band is trickling off because they felt like they peaked.
Well, or they burn out.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens is before they ever reach 150, 200 grand, you're wearing 10 different hats, man. You're doing a lot of different jobs and you're getting paid for maybe one of them, and
if you're lucky.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Most of them are getting paid half a price, for one job, and you're doing 10. So, but that's the problem with our industry, man. And that typical structure, it's why it doesn't work. Like there's no one out there supporting independent artists. Because once you get to that 400K a year mark, the agents will be reaching out to you. But at that point, if you're using our system and you're keeping up with your data, then you can then go to that table for that negotiation or that interaction. And you're in the driver's seat now, because you can say to another agent or agency, look, my bands, we're doing $250,000 a year in our live revenue gross alone, plus merchandise, plus royalties and all the other stuff. So what are you going to do that my software is not already doing for me? And the only thing they can offer you at that time is strategic partnerships. They're going to say, well, I can put you on a support with this band that's on my roster that's really big. And you can make that decision at that time if that's what you want to do. But you're going to give up some control when you do that. Because here's the other real, kind of reality in the current model. Let's say you do everything right, okay? You get the product life cycle. You have a new album coming out. You've hired a publicist. You just spent a lot of money on the production. You got a killer band behind you. You've got your transportation all together for you. Maybe you have a tour manager or a manager, and now you have a booking agent. And you have gotten the stars to completely line up for you, right? Like just getting all of that together in sync is a real task to do. And so let's say you do all that right. Okay. Best case scenario. You finally get signed on with an agency. Okay. They're going to have other bands on their roster, right? Because we can't afford to just have one band to make $20,000 a year with one band, right?
Right.
So we have to have other bands, okay? That, in a sense, creates conflicts of interest.
Explain.
Well, because let's just say you're making $200,000 a year, and we sign you on, but I have 4 other bands that are making me 500 plus. Do you think I'm going to spend more time on them or on you?
I see where you're going with it. Okay. I see where you're going.
So now I didn't do this, but I know a lot of agencies that do. And it's because we all, we love music, but we need to make money too. And if I can make one phone call and make $1,000 per call, or I can make 5 calls and maybe make $500, which one is the agency going to do?
Yeah, it makes me think of Jerry Maguire.
Right.
It really does when.
Yeah, so it's all about, so there's some conflicts of interest there, and agencies and agents will play favorites, and that's detrimental to an artist who was just promised the world and we're going to make you a star kind of stuff that all these agents and agencies will tell you to get you to sign on. But what they're really going to do is 3 things, man. They're going to list you on the website. They're going to put you in the newsletter. They're going to post you on social media, and they'll try hard for like the first 6 to 12 months, right? Because they've signed you on and they want to get you out there to put their best foot forward. But if they're getting you more money than what you're worth and you're not selling tickets, guess what happens? They just drop you.
So what's been your biggest success story?
I've had a number of them. I've had artists that, completely started out, didn't even have a local or barely had a local following, and took them to the international level within 2 years, and then ended up winning Grammys. I've done it all and everything in between. I've seen it all, man. Nothing surprises me. So, I've had another artist, the artist that I mentioned that I first started managing. This artist he was a blues artist, and he had 10 albums underneath his belt. When I first started working with him, he did not even have an email newsletter. And he's an international touring act. He did not have a newsletter. But he had 10 albums under his belt, never even had licensing or syncs, had 32 Blues Music Award nominations, and had never won one of them. Okay? When I signed him on, within 2 years, I got him on to Alligator Records, which is the largest blues label in the country. His merchandise sales tripled. His live revenue sales doubled. And then we ended up winning for the next, I think it was after year 2, but he won like BB King Entertainer of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Instrumentalist of the Year, you name it. He started winning those awards, not just being nominated for them. And at the time, the Grammy Foundation was not recognizing the blues for their awards because it wasn't very popular. And so at the time, it was the highest accolade you could get as a blues artist, period. And so he was getting nominations, but he wasn't winning them. So to take an artist that, went from that level all the way to winning those and getting on with the label and, but it's really about building the systems so that you can run your business. And that's what we do, man. That's what I do. That's my specialty. I'm all about strategic partnerships, and my brain just looks for inefficiencies in any business model. And that's what we work to fix.
Don't look at mine.
It's
Mine took a hit during my divorce.
It's hard to look at your own business sometimes, and you need a third party. I had a third party looking at mine and helping me with mine, because I didn't want to acknowledge the truths that were hidden in the data. And you can ignore it all you want, but it's going to keep you in the same place, or you're going to, be going further from your dreams than achieving them. So,
oh yeah, I feel that in you talk about burning out. I'm kind of feeling that on the DJ side.
Well, and so that's the other thing is like, again, going back to, let's say you did everything right. The agency, took you on and they dropped you. Then real burnout starts to set in because you've done everything right and you still didn't achieve your goals. And now you have to reinvent the wheel and rebuild your team. And the opportunity cost that comes along with that when you get dropped, and that is your main cash register for your business or your cash cow. I mean, a lot of artists are like, forget this, like I wasn't making a bunch of money anyway, and I did everything right. This doesn't work. And they stop and they go back and work at Lowe's or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's, for me, I was like, that entire model is so broken. I want to fix it because it doesn't work for us as an agency, and it doesn't work for the bands either. Like the value, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze for either side. It just isn't. Until you're making like 400 or 500 grand a year for an agency, you're not really making enough money.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I really do, because and then people don't realize when they go through these seasons that business is going to affect it too. Obviously, when you, like my situation, when you go through a divorce, people hear, well, he's going through a divorce. I don't want a DJ going through a divorce to do my wedding.
Right.
So life happens. And, sometimes, and I'm sure you'll agree with what I'm saying, we're our own worst critics, where we look at the situations that we have been put in, sometimes self-inflicted.
Yeah.
And we let it tear us down.
Right. Yeah. And going back to the mental health side of things, it's like when something like that happens, it crushes band morale tremendously. And the band leader tries to hold it all together, but now you have to play psychologist and psychiatrist for your band members to keep them motivated, and to weather that storm on that side while you're still wearing 10 different hats. And that's just not sustainable. It's just not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And I've seen the mental health go down for bands because of that traditional agency model. It just doesn't work.
Well, I've seen it locally. As a sound guy, I've seen it locally. I've seen where bands have had a following, and next thing you know, they're coming to a show and they have one bad performance and they're like, I'm done.
Right.
I've seen it on the sound aspect. I've been doing sound for 4 years, so I see it on the sound aspect.
Right.
So, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to an artist in that situation?
In the situation of
just struggling, like you were just talking about, being in that lull.
To me, it's all about who you surround yourself with. You don't want a bunch of yes people around you that are just going to tell you what you want to hear. You want, good friends are going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you, you can do better. They're going to encourage you. That's what we try to help our clients build, is what I call the power team around you. Helping you get the right people around you is critical, for you to be consistent. And, if you really want to move the needle, you have to be consistent. And if you don't have the systems and the infrastructure inside of your business to be able to weather the ups and downs, you're going to burn out or you'll crash altogether. It's just a matter of time. Like I've seen it 1,000 times. And, if the music industry was truly all about talent, then you would see a bunch of like classical guitarists and like opera singers and that kind of stuff on the top of the charts, because technically they're some of the best in the world. But that's not what you see, because music is subjective to everybody. So it really comes down to branding and experiences and marketing and all of that, and managing your systems and your infrastructure. Behind every successful band that you see out there on the charts and that's on the road, they have a team around them. They have an infrastructure. They have systems that are built into place that enable them to do what they do. And if you don't have that, you're not going to get there. It doesn't matter if you can rip the neck off the guitar or not. It's not that they don't like your music. They just don't know you're there.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and this is where the rubber meets the road. A talent buyer could hate your band, but if you're selling tickets, guess what? They're going to book your band because they need to make money. And on the other hand, they could love your band. You could be their favorite band, but if you're not selling tickets, there's only so many times they can do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Bubba used to tell me all the time. You talk about people that'll tell you like it is. That's why I got Bubba. He don't sugarcoat anything.
Right.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I have several friends that way. I'd rather have that group of people around me than someone that says, "Oh my goodness, that was the best episode I've ever seen." I'm not going to say tear my episodes apart, but give me pointers on how I can do better.
Right.
And that's what I want. And that's the kind of friend I am. It's like, I seen something, well, Brad, that's a great, but if you tweak it here, it would be better, and that's what we're supposed to do. Not so much pick people apart. And if something's really, truly good, be like, man, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But, and I think we also get discouraged because when you're faced with obstacles and you're back up against the wall and your world's falling apart, as we talk about music and the mental health that music helps with, sometimes take a break.
Yep.
Sometimes, and if you're hitting it so hard and I've been there, where you're hitting it so hard because you're trying to stay focused, and take a break, breathe. That's what I had to do coming out of my divorce. I DJ'd straight out of my divorce. I mean, not as much. I went from, June of the year prior, I made almost $5,000.
Yeah.
The June of my divorce, I made luckily maybe $2,500.
Right.
So, I mean, I took a dramatic hit, but I was so busy pushing myself and trying to get yourself out there that I had to take a break from everything. And sometimes, success is important, but value your mental health.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah.
If you ain't going to take care of yourself,
nobody else is for you, man.
Exactly. I mean,
without a doubt. And if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others?
Exactly. I mean, but once you take care of yourself, you got to be able to sell yourself, like Bubba tells me all the time.
Right.
Why would you expect somebody else to buy if you can't believe in what you're selling?
Right.
Like I used to struggle with approaching people. Use me for example when it comes to being on my podcast, and it's gotten easier, a whole lot easier. But at first I was like, man, I don't know how to approach this person. And Bubba's like, Willie, you've got to believe. If you're not believing in yourself, how can someone else believe in the story you have?
Right.
So, and I see artists, like when they come up, you can tell when the artist has it together and they come up with their hard flash drive for me to plug into my computer to play their music. And, because I do a lot of artists that have tracks and stuff. So, but then there's, I forgot that. And I'm in the middle of nowhere and they're like, can I email it to you? I was like, I have no cell phone service. And you want me to try? I was like, we can try, but I'm not making guarantee.
Right.
And it's sad, but as a sound guy, I had to put it out there that if you're performing, I need your music 3 or 4 days, a week, 2 weeks before the show, because how can I properly set up for a show if and it, I can see all the things like you were saying, all the components of it, being in it. I won't say the front face of it, but I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of it firsthand,
Yeah. There's The entire music industry is due for a refresh. And that's why I wanted to create the software and give, the consulting and kind of make this more of a subscription-based model. And so we can kind of go back and go into some of the features and everything. If you want, we can pull up that slide and I can kind of go through that. And then I can certainly get into the pricing of the software as well. But, okay. And so let's just start with this. So let's say your band is doing $200,000 a year. Okay. And you got us for a deal and you got us for 10%. So we're going to make you're going to pay us $20,000 to book your band for a whole year. Right. But we're going to have other bands on the roster. So you may get the attention that you want. You may not. You really don't know. Right. And, maybe the agent loves this album, but maybe you release another album and they're not really keen on it. So you're kind of stuck with that agency, and maybe they're not going to push you as hard as they did on the first one. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff happens in that traditional model. So, but let's look at this real quick. So, the traditional way of booking is, you can do it yourself, but it's manual outreach to venues. You have inconsistent follow-ups, a lot of ghosting going on, and just missed opportunities because you're not looking at your data. You're just kind of throwing things out there and hoping somebody's going to give you a chance, right? That's just kind of the traditional way that most artists are doing their bookings. With Music Mogul AI, we help you automate the outreach and the follow-up. We give you an integrated calendar with workflows and templates, and you get my database as well that I've used for 20 years. It's an international database, not just in the United States. So you're going to get the email addresses and the phone numbers for all my contacts, okay? And, that in itself right there is worth a lot. You know what I mean? Like I've had even my early adopters that are helping me with the beta testing, on average, they're saying that this software could save them at least 10 hours a week.
Well, I could easily see it because as a podcaster, to have a list like that would be established to where I could send out emails and I ain't trying to chase down tails. I could see
right
on that aspect of it how beneficial that would be to have.
Yeah, like even if it just did the outreach and the follow-ups for you, to me that would be worth at least 10 grand a year.
Save me that much time, absolutely. I mean, right. I can't tell you how many emails I got to do better at sending follow-ups, but I can't tell you how many emails I do probably a day reaching out to people about my podcast coming on. Right. And so I could see the beneficial in that because you know what, if I can sit at home and the work's being done for me, then it's not so much it's being done for me, but I'm not having to work as hard to get the leads. Why not? Right.
Well, and so our system doesn't just send out, slop emails. It's not going to just, be a bot sending out emails, right? You can send out up to 50 emails a day, okay? And the reason why we have it capped at 50 is, and we may raise that once, a little bit later, but right now we have it set up. It's called a human in the loop model, okay? Which means you're going to pick the venues that you want, and it can even look at your data to decide, help you decide on where you should play, number one. But number two, it's going to draft up those emails for you, okay? With our pitch, it's going to look as if, it's coming from a booking agent as well. So it's a third party. That in itself is worth at least 10 grand right there, just to have a third party booking your stuff instead of you doing it yourself. A third party can always get you more money than you can get yourself. The same way a realtor gets you more money for your house than if you sell it by owner. It's the same thing, right? So, but it's going to draft up all those emails, and the system is designed to where you should only have to spend an hour a day running the software. You're basically going to approve the activity before it goes out. Just as if I were your booking agent, I would be saying, is this the venue you want me to? Now, you wouldn't get to see all my emails, but you would kind of tell me which targets you want me to go after. And then after I got the offers, I would come back to you and say, I have these offers. Do you want me? What are your thoughts? Do you want me to get more? Do you want to turn them down? Do you want to take them? All that stuff, right? You're able to do all of that inside the system with your pajamas on the couch now. You know what I mean? You don't even have to get on a Zoom call. So for that in itself is huge.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we'll go on to the second one, but, this even has where once the buyer sends an offer, it's going to put that offer into a digital contract for you that they can sign right there. So you don't have to do data entry. You don't have to create a contract. The system's going to do that for you. Not only that, but as soon as it creates the contract, Willie, this thing creates a digital poster for you. Because it already has the start time and the ticket price. It has the address. It already has the dates. So our system is going to create a digital poster with the contract. So the club now has an asset to start promoting the date before they ever even sign the contract.
Man, that is huge.
Right? So one of the big pitfalls in the traditional model is if I'm your booking agent and your publicist is over here and your manager's over there, from the time I confirm a date for you to the time that publicist picks up the phone or makes initial contact with that venue, typically a month has gone by. Okay. You just left money on the table. That's very valuable marketing time for you to promote your show. Most shows book around 3 months out. Well, if you just missed a month, a third of your marketing time just went to the trash. You just missed out on that because you didn't connect the dots with your team. But this gives the buyer a digital poster that they can post on their website, post on their socials, put in the newsletter, and start generating ticket sales immediately.
Man, coming from someone that's putting an event together, man, that would be huge.
Right. And so you can, and on the poster generation, you can upload your own, like we have templates and everything in there, but you can upload your logo and you can approve all of that before it goes out. Okay. Now it'll generate one for you, but you can go back and change the background and all that. The ticket price and all that stuff will stay the same. And you can move everything around just as if you were in Canva. But to save you that time and to give you a template with all of that ready to go, and all you have to do is just tweak it to make it your own, is huge. Okay. And to be able to get, and then to be able to get a digital signature as well. The buyer doesn't have to print out your PDF, sign it, scan it, attach it, send it back. You know what I mean? Like it could take them a week sometimes to just do that. It's like, you can just sign it right here and let's go. Here's your poster. Let's get it listed. Let's go. So, that is, in a sense, and there I could go into more detail, but
I ain't gonna lie, just the first two blew my mind. Okay.
What's that?
I said, I ain't gonna lie, just the first two blew my mind. If I was an artist, I'd be like, all right, where can I sign? What line do I sign on?
Yeah, like in that we're not even through the software. Like that's just, like in the booking agent, there's like an email nurturing sequence that, we have built in to do those follow-ups for you, where you're just approving the activity. You're going to put into the system, how much you want the system to quote you on a club date and a concert series and a festival, and how many hotel rooms you want and what your links are. So it auto populates all of that for each email for you. Oh, you're muted. I didn't hear you there.
That's incredible. I mean, like, you could probably spend the rest of the show highlighting all these because it's such a powerful asset. I mean,
yep.
So if someone was interested in that, would they just go to your website?
Yep. So you go to musicmogulai.com, and in the top right, there's a sign up button. We have a form that you can fill out that is going to ask you questions that's going to help us get a better idea of where you are in your career, what kind of, services you might need, and just to kind of help us, get a better feel for where you are. After that, I reach out to them directly at the moment. I probably won't be able to do this for forever because things are growing pretty fast. But right now, I'm able to reach out to them directly and kind of do a one-on-one discovery call with the bands or the artist to kind of go through everything, tell them a little bit about how it works, like what I just told you on that. And, I send out a calendar link so that we can get on that call at a convenient time. And we kind of go through it. I can do a demo or an on-screen thing, what's called a Loom video, where we just record the screen. I will have a bank of videos pretty soon where you can just go in and watch those kind of tutorials that show you how to do everything in the software. But so we really want to determine, are you ready for the software, or do you need the consulting first? That's really where it starts. If you're ready to jump into the software, fine. And that's what you want to do, you're welcome to it. If you really want to position yourself properly and professionally, then the consulting is what you're going to want to do before we start running things at scale. All right. So now, just for the booking agent of the software, which is really all we've gone over so far, you can get that for $3,000 for a whole year.
Man, that's huge. I mean,
it comes out. I mean, you can do it for $300 a month if you want, which comes out to like $10 a day. Like, you can't even go to Wendy's and get a Happy Meal, or McDonald's and get a Happy Meal for $10 hardly. You know what I mean?
No. We were talking about this the other day with a group of my friends. It cost me $25 just to eat me and Cheyenne.
Right.
So that's going cheap.
Right. So that's that's how affordable this really is. But anyway, like, if it gets you 1 gig a month and all you had to do was set it up initially, it pays for itself.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're charging, and I think that's where a lot of artists hurt themselves, is because they don't believe in themselves when they go to these venues, and I see it all the time that, I'll do it for $150 or whatever, that low dollar amount.
Right.
But they're going to go play for 6 hours or however long they're going to go play for.
Right.
And I'm not saying overcharge every venue you come across, but you're going to have to look. Artist needs to start factoring in gas and all that, because you may be making $150 to play, but you're spending $60 in gas, therefore, and then you had to eat, so therefore you're only making $50.
Right. Well, and you still got to put tires on the van and maintenance and oil changes and insurance. And
so now you're going in the hole. I mean, I was just talking.
You didn't make any money, You lost money, and so that's anyway. So that's why it's so important for this, because it saves you the time as well as makes you more efficient and gets you, so it saves you money. It makes you more money. It gives you control over your business. It gives you clarity with your data. You know what I mean? And you can manage all of this from your computer, you know? So, and like, we haven't even really gotten into the marketing, but I can get into that real quick. The marketing agent, once we get that signed contract in, the marketing agent kicks in. So it's going to do a number of things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to create 5 social media posts for each date that is booked. Okay. It's going to draft that up for you to approve, but it's going to be a show announcement, one for the month before, the week before, the day before, and the day of. It's going to draft that up for you, and you simply approve it. You don't have to schedule it out and know what time is better on what platform and all this. The system knows when to post that at the maximum time for each platform.
Wow.
And so right now we're only integrated with Meta for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I had to kind of pick 3. So on those 3, it's going to create, that's 15 posts. And all you do is approve the copy, what the message, make sure it fits your tone and you like whatever it's saying before it goes out. And then it schedules it out. Then it's going to, it created the poster already. It does the social media post. Then it's going to help you with your newsletter, because now it knows what shows you're doing. You've uploaded your business plan. It's going to create the newsletter copy for you. So you just copy and paste that into whatever email client you're using, and now you've got a newsletter that's going out. We integrate with Bands in Town as well with this. So we're going to help you schedule posts to where you can get more trackers on Bands in Town, help you get more subscribers to your newsletter. All help you with your merchandise. So you're going to tell it, every twice a week, I want you to push, once a week, I want you to push a t-shirt of mine, and another, maybe do that on Mondays, and on Fridays, I want you to push my trucker cap. So it's going to alternate those posts and schedule that out for you. So it's helping you with merch sales, all of that.
Man, it's going to free up so much time. It really is.
Yeah, like, just think about how much, even just the marketing agent, if it just did that, what would that be worth to you?
Man, I don't know. Just for the 2, I mean, because you said you get the 2 for $3,000, right?
No, so each agent is $3,000 a year or $300 a month. So like the booking agent would be $3,000, the marketing agent would be $3,000. But that's for a whole year.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't saying anything bad, not at all. But yeah.
And we even have it to where you can find it, like you can break it up into payments. We use Stripe for our payment center, and you can use Klarna, which like breaks it all up for you, and you can finance it and all that stuff too. So like, you can finance it.
Huge. That's huge. I mean, because initially you're taking time away from your family when you have to sit down and do all this yourself. So initially, you're getting family time back.
That's right.
I mean, as a single parent, you sure you ain't going to get into podcasters?
Well, I've thought about it. Bubba and he's been trying to get me to take on influencers and do the same thing. And I've even thought about doing comedians as well, kind of the same thing, because the process is the same. The contacts are different, but the process is generally the same. So, yeah.
We may definitely have to have you come back on, because we did not get as much covered in the hour as we thought we were going to.
I know. There's a lot to kind of get into. But
let's don't leave stairways in there for you to come back.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
Definitely maybe do a couple episodes or whatever throughout the year and just kind of highlight the points, or maybe even just instead of recording it, we just go live on YouTube with it on the Scene Projects.
We can do that.
Just do a little mini series on the Music Mogul AI.
Right.
Good thing it's
Yeah.
rolling across my screen. I forgot what it was called. I ain't gonna lie. My memory is horrible.
Well, yeah, I know I gave a lot of information there, and there's still more. Like we didn't even get into the management agent, but it essentially works like a tour manager. It's going to advance the dates for you. It's going to send an email ahead and say, how are ticket sales? Who's my day of show contact? Who's the sound man? Who's the doorman? Where do we park? Here's our hospitality. Where are the confirmation numbers on the hotel rooms? Who's paying us out at the end of the night? It's going to do all that for you.
Man, that alone, I can't tell you as a DJ how many times I've gone into a place and be like, I didn't know who's paying me because I didn't know.
Right. And so this is going to do that automatically for you. So it's just, it's not the only difference between this and a regular road manager is it's not going to help you load in your equipment and break stuff down. It's going to do everything through email. So, but yeah, it's, and there's a lot more functionality we're building into the management agent, and we can save that for another time. But, man, when you put all of this together, that is the biggest value when you combine all three agents together. And so right now, like if you were to just buy them independently, for each of those, it would be $9,000 for the whole year. But what we're offering right now is a bundle pricing. So we're going to give you all three agents, the booking agent, the marketing agent, and the management agent, if you do the annual subscription for $8,000 for the year. And then we are
Did you say for $8,000?
$8,000 a year, you get all three agents.
Man, they better get that while it's hot.
Yeah, it likely won't stay that way for forever, but this is a new software that we're rolling out. We want to get people in it. We want success stories. We want to make sure that everybody can afford it and that, we can, but we want to see change. We want to change people's lives with this, man.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I do what I do. Because like, honestly, for artists that come on my show, yeah, I take their music and I add it to my personal play collection when I do events. Yeah. With their blessings, I don't just take their music, right. I add because it push them. I mean, right. I love the fact that we have more independent artists because it's stepping away from some of the record labels that are trying to put these artists in bubbles.
Yep, they do that.
I have a friend that got signed and he completely changed who he was, and I was like, dude, you don't even know who you are anymore. Right. So at the end of the day, you got to stay true to who you are. And the independent scene is making that very easy. Yeah.
Well, and so that kind of leads me into my next thing. So what I like to offer to the user or the artist is we can give you the full stack of the software for $8,000 for the year. But what I can offer them is a mentorship bonus on that, okay? Where a mentorship means you're getting advice, but it's more in a group setting instead of like a one-on-one. But you're able to attend our calls for the mentorship. You're considered a mentee if you're part of that program. But you're basically going to get on calls with us once a week where we have a live Q&A. You can ask any questions about what's going on. And we're going to give that to you for an entire year for $2,000. So for $10,000, you can get all of that for a whole year.
Man, that's.
And then if you wanted to add on the consulting on the front end, where we help you do your positioning and your branding and all that, that is $1,500. So if you combine that $1,500 with the $10,000, you get all of that for $11,500 to run your business for an entire year.
Man,
you get the consulting, the full stack of the software with the ongoing mentorship calls once a week.
Man, that would completely change somebody's life.
It is. It's going to. And here's the thing. Like, let's just say you were a band making $100,000 a year and you got us for a deal, right? At 10%. You're going to pay a booking agent 10 grand just to book your band. That's it. They're not going to do marketing. They're not going to do management. They're not going to do mentorship. You're not going to get any consulting, and you're not going to get control over your business. You're going to play favorites with other bands on a roster for the same price.
That's not a year though.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying if you grossed 100,000.
Oh, okay, I got you. I missed that part.
For that year, then you would pay them 10 grand just to book your band.
Oh yeah. I missed 100 grand a month. Sorry.
Well, this can do the booking, the marketing, the management, the consulting, and the mentorship for the same price.
Man,
you get control over it too. Like, you don't have to worry, is my agent on vacation? Are they really working for me? Are they playing favorites with other bands on the roster? Are they really even making calls for me? You don't know. But with this you do, because you get to see all the activity.
Man. So with that, and say they bring someone on, are you developing like an affiliation program for it, or?
We do. Oh, good. Glad you brought that up. We even have an affiliate program in here. You didn't even know this, but I'm glad you brought that up. So we even have an affiliate program where when you sign on, you get an affiliate link. If you share that link to other people on your socials and they sign up using that link, we'll give you $50 off a month for up to 3 people a month. So you could, if you're doing just the booking agent, let's just say you're paying $300 a month. If you got 3 people a month to sign up with your link, you're essentially getting the booking agent for $150 a month.
Man.
Like, it doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any cheaper than that. It doesn't exist. And this doesn't exist anywhere else in the marketplace today. No other software does what this does.
That is huge. You sure you don't want to get into podcasting?
Man, if I can get this one off the ground, I'd be happy to take a look at it. I know Bubba's been trying to get me to do the same thing for influencers, and honestly, it would be a lot easier because y'all don't tour as much, so it's really just automating the outreach, and
honestly, just to have that list of emails, that would be huge,
right?
And that's just a minute part of it, but just to have that email list,
right? So that's the other thing.
Do you sell your email list? Do you sell your email list?
No, I do not.
Darn the luck.
Yeah. Nope. I don't do that. It's all inside the system, and we have. I have assistants that are basically constantly going to be looking for new festivals and concert series and all that. We're going to be scraping the web and crawling the web for new events as they come up. And then our staff is tasked with going to find out who the talent buyers are so that our database is constantly evolving and staying up to date. And, most of our venues in this software are what we call hard ticket venues. So I don't know if your audience knows what the difference between a hard and a soft ticket, but a soft ticket is we call them menu venues, but they're basically restaurants where their food and beverage is really the model that they're making money off of. Music is kind of secondary. So it's hard to tell in a soft ticket, are they there for the food or are they there for the music? It's kind of cloudy, and that's why it's called a soft ticket, because the data is soft, right? A hard ticket venue is a destination music venue where they have a stage and they have a bar, and that's it. They mainly make their money off of alcohol sales and off of the door. That's it. But it's hard. It's a hard ticket because the data gives you a hard, numbers on what you're worth. And those are the venues that are actually going to move your career forward. The soft ticket venues, like if you say, oh, I did 200 paid at the Hard Rock, and then you were to say, well, I did 200 paid at this other destination music venue. The value between those two data points is not the same. So, but if you say, well, I had 200 paid at the Hard Rock, they're gonna be like, yeah, but we don't know if that was foot traffic. We don't know if they're there to see your band or the food. We don't really know. It doesn't give the buyer a good idea of what you're really worth. However, if you go to a hard ticket venue that only charges by the door, and you say, well, I did 200 paid at a $10 ticket. Okay, your band's worth $2,000. Here's your offer for $1,500 plus 80% after expenses. We'll see where it goes. And they can make that decision just like that because they have hard data on what to invest in. And if you don't keep up with that data to show them what that is, then you're going to be starting from zero every single time.
Man, you definitely like opened my eyes to a lot of things I did not realize.
Man, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I can
You
do
make
this
me
in my
want to go
sleep.
reevaluate my business. Okay.
But yeah, man. Well, that's why I even this just came out, the Music Business Playbook. You can get this on Amazon right now. A lot of the stuff that I do in my consulting, there you go. A lot of everything that I do in my consulting that I kept repeating myself over and over again to all these bands all the time. I just distilled it, man, and put it into a book for you. So you can get this book if you wanted to start small, just to get an idea of who I am and the information that I provide. You can get this on Amazon for a Kindle for $10. You can get the paperback for $20, or I have another digital version as well on my own link that you can get from Gumroad. It's currently listed for $55, but I have a discount code that I can give anyone that is interested. If they just want to comment in the comments below, discount code, I can send that to them and I can get you 50% off of it.
Get me that code, and when I post this video, I will make sure I put that in the description.
But yeah, this is it's only 119 pages long. This is not meant to be a novel. This is
might be one I can read.
Well, it takes some time, but it's meant to be direct and concise. It's not meant to be a novel. It is meant to be something that you can take with you. And that's why I wanted to do the digital version, because, if you're in the van or you're on the road, you can read this on your phone. Take it with you.
Audiobook for it?
I don't have an audiobook yet, but that is in the works for it. I'm working on that. They wanted like another $2,000 to be able to put it into an audiobook. So it is definitely in the works, but it is not out yet. If you guys are really interested in that, comment audiobook in the comments below, and that'll kind of give me some feedback on how many would be interested in that.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't be.
Okay. I would too. I'm an audible and visual learner, and I would rather listen to it than to read it. But wanted to give something tangible to everyone, just to kind of get into our ecosystem here, to give you something that's a quick win that is very affordable. If you like what's in the book, you will absolutely love our consulting and mentorship services. It's consulting, you're getting more one-on-one. We look at your business directly. We're not talking in generalities. We're giving you specifics based off of your business. And, that's huge. So
I'm definitely going to have to be reaching out to you. I got some questions.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, man, I know we've been on for a while, and I hope I didn't, overwhelm everyone, but wanted to give as much information as I could on this. And I appreciate you letting me kind of tell the story about, what we're doing, what we're building, who we're building it for, and, what kind of change we're looking to make. in the music
No, I
industry.
was actually excited for it. I ain't gonna lie, because I've talked to Bubba a little bit about it, but and that's why when you started co-hosting Love Noise with us, I was like, I want you on,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah.
sending
And go ahead.
invite if you have any clients that you're representing that wants to tell their story.
Yeah.
This is me extending my invite out to them as well. I mean,
Yeah. Absolutely. I definitely will. And then, I do have a new podcast that we're going to be doing with the Scene Projects. It will be airing on Tuesday nights at 6:00 every week. Yep. Thank you. Willie just put up the logo there, but it's called the Music Industry Architects. We'll be talking to a lot of other music business, experts and all that, as far as how, the future of the music business is shaping and who's shaping it. So that's really my main focus is, helping artists get that information and get those connections and continuing to build the community that the Scene Projects is all about, and it's really about giving everyone, all the assets and the information that they need to make their own decisions and to forge their own path.
oh, absolutely, and that's what thing is the Scene Project. You become a family. You've been on one show, you become a family. They're no matter if it's my show, Bubba's show, whoever's show it is,
Right.
it becomes a family.
Yeah.
I get people on and I introduce them to Bubba. Bubba gets people on and introduce them to me.
Right.
And I think that's what this is. This is a community. It's a family for us that are, we talk. Me and you don't talk as much, but we co-host Love Noise together. So initially we become like a family because,
right.
And then we bring other people in, and now we have every kind of people. We have the sound guy, we have the business guy that knows the scenes, and you have the artist that knows the struggles, and
right.
We got like the whole front of it now. So
yeah. And that's the secret sauce. That's what makes the community so great, and that you can, the artist or the businesses can come in and get what they need from each different channel or show and podcast. And, you can bounce around if you want, but it's all creating. We're all passionate about helping independent artists. And that is the common thread that we all have in everything that we do. And that's why this is such a great strategic partnership between all of us, because we all have the same obsession, and that is to help independent artists.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why even if I don't get them on my show, but I get on TikTok and I see someone playing a live show, I may not know them, but I share their stuff. I mean, it takes 5 seconds to share a video, and this is just food for thought for y'all that are watching. You have an artist friend, share their stuff. You see a new song come out that they've done, share it. An event they're doing, whether you can make it or not. I can't tell you how many events I've shared of Bubba's that I probably will never be able to make it to as a single parent going to South Dakota. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
But someone on my list may be in the area, and it may be like, all right, and do the same. I share the Unsigned Spotlight with Michael and AJ. It's all about rallying together. And if you can't pull together for your community, why would you, and I hit on this earlier, why would you expect somebody else to pull together for your community?
Right.
And as us in the entertainment era community, we got to pull it together for the little people. I mean, now there's some artists that are easy and they hit that viral spot really quick, but they didn't know how to hold it, and now they're in that crashing airplane.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, you're right, man. It's all about delivering value, man, and just doing right by everyone. I think we all come from a very honest and humble, angle with this. There's no facade, that's very pure. It's a great community that is intentional about creating value. And that's really what it's all about, man. So yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. And definitely, I know we didn't get, too much into detail on some of the other stuff, but there's a lot more functionality that we have that just really can't, be covered in, an hour or two on this. But we are going to change people's lives, man, without it.
Absolutely. We already have. I mean, we really have, and we're just at the core. There's people's lives that's already been affected. Whether we're not hearing it back, whether it's the people that Bubba has a huge group that he knows, or the people that, look, I interviewed Charlotte Roop, the lady that has the Operation Combating Veteran Suicide.
Yeah.
Great interview. 2 weeks later, this is how this all works. I had a phone call from another gentleman. His name is Jamie Smith. He's a military veteran. I ain't going to quote what branch because I don't remember. And he wanted to use his music to give back to other veterans.
Yeah.
So then I rush out to Charlotte, and next thing you know, I'm doing 2 benefits here in Missouri. That just goes to show, and that's just on the small end of what I'm doing.
Right.
Reaching out to artists. Hey, the Midwest Talent Organization and the awards, and there's been a lot of great nominations throughout that. And whether you're nominated or you win, it's an honor just to be nominated.
That's right.
But
yeah,
guys, remember, we're gonna wrap this up. Just remember, no matter where you're at, you're not alone in your struggles, and you are loved. If you need help, find someone. I'm not saying it has to be professional, but find a support system.
Absolutely. Yeah, if we can help you out, we're here for you. Drop a comment in the comments below. Happy to, get you help or do whatever we can to help you.
Oh, absolutely. And Brad, thank you again, buddy, for a great conversation. And we're definitely going to have to do more, because I would like to be able to get all that you offer out here.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me on. This was great, and we'll definitely do it again.
And y'all have a great night.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.